Hello everybody and welcome to Sunday night's racing at Front Row Racing for the ProjectCARS Season 5 Round 2 of the DTM Championship. We're at the Silverstone International Circuit, which is the shorter location. We're going to be having a 7-lap sprint race followed by a 10-minute qualifying session that'll then have a 5-minute warm-up before the 28-lap feature race, of which the top 3 finishers in the sprint race will not be allowed to qualify. Now, in a few moments, I will go through driver standings because it's always interesting to know exactly what the situation is there. But in the commentary box with me this evening is Front Row Racing JS. So, James, how are you this evening?
Yeah, not too bad. Rushing about, but it's proven very popular with the first round, which was at Monza Short, and yeah, I've had plenty of messages and plenty of praise on the new format, and really a lot of the drivers are really looking forward to Silverstone International.
Yep, and if anyone wants to know why we're running a little bit behind today, there's 2 reasons for that. One is James had to go off for a poo, and the other is that YouTube decided to stop my first stream, or didn't work properly. So yeah, there's the reasons why we're running a little bit late this evening. So James, I hope you're fully what's the word?
Relieved.
I was going to say you've lost any extra ballast that you might have been carrying.
Yeah, rear ballast, yeah. It's all gone.
Okay, so as I said, I'll go through the driver standings in a moment, but I just want to quickly mention again that we are using the DTM car, which is a fantastic car. A few of the stats are on the screen. The drivers can pick whatever livery they like, and there isn't any teams this season. The drivers are fighting for themselves. And when it comes to the drivers' standings and situation, well, from round 1, which was at the Monza Short, in the sprint race, Michelin Man took maximum points there, which is 15. He finished first, with Casely second. MLT DOT finished in 3rd, with Dave the Harp 4th, Hesselden 5th, Dan Evs in 6th, GBM Oldman in 7th, GT Gavin in 8th, GBM Vectra 9th. He was followed by Dex Z Drum, and then Jason Adam 4600 and M1989 Woolhouse, and the last of the finishers was Kulu Kutu. For the feature race, Michelin Man, Casely 1 and MLT DOT had to start from the back of their grid. However, that didn't stop Michelin Man working his way all the way through the field to take another victory. So 2 out of 2 at round 1. 25 points the maximum for a feature race win. So Michelin Man finished in first, with Dave the Harp taking a fantastic second place. Casely in 3rd, with GBM Oldman 4th. Hesselden 95th. Dan Evs finishing 6th. He finished 6th in both races. He was followed by Adam 4600, GBM Vectra, Jason, GT Gavin, Kulu Kutu, M1989 Woolhouse, Dex Zedrum and MLT DOT finished in last. And what that means for the driver standings is that Michelin Man is leading the way on 40 points. Casely is 12 behind him on 28. Dave the Harp only a point behind Casely on 27, while GBM Oldman and Hesselden both have 17 points. Dan Evs is next in line on 15 points, with MLT DOT on 11 points right behind him. GBM Vectra has 10 points, and then Adam 4600 and GT Gavin 2 are sharing 9 points each. Jason has 7 points, Kulu Kutu has 5, Woolhouse has 4, and Dex Zedrum has 3. So that's the current driver standing situation, and that's going to mix about a little bit this evening, we think, James?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of drivers posting in very quick times. GBM Oldman was one of note this week, pumping in, I think it was mid-59s, which is rapid pace round here.
Yep. Now, if all of the drivers are in, we can send them over to the circuit. And as I said, it's the Silverstone International Circuit. It is one of the short versions, which means that the drivers don't get to use Maggots and Beckett's. They basically go over the start-finish line, round turn 1, 2, 3, and then they take a little bit of a detour and head straight onto the Hangar Straight. And then, obviously, back around the far end of the circuit into the newer part of the track and completing the lap. It's only 2.24 miles, although I think that's for the might be for the whole circuit. But yeah, it's a short circuit, and it's going to be a lot like Monza, isn't it, James? Where it's going to be fast-paced action, potentially all the way through.
Fast-paced action, but one key corner to watch out for is turn 5. It is the 90-degree right-hander through the hangar straight. It is an absolute killer. If you turn in a touch too early, as it is slightly off camber and you can't really see the apex, if you go in too late, you're going to lose about half a second. If you go in too early, you may end up getting a time penalty, and it's not a 5-second penalty, it's not a 10-second penalty, it's a 15-second penalty, so that corner is harsh.
Yeah, okay. I believe we have a 5-minute warm-up session, a practice session for the drivers before the sprint race. Am I correct?
Yeah. 5-minute warm-up just to make sure all the drivers have got enough fuel in for the sprint race. Just double-check their settings, and we shall be away in 4 minutes' time for the sprint race.
Okay. Now I have got Temp Fear on screen at the moment, and a few drivers may know that he wasn't in last week's race, and I believe that's because Dan Evans is unavailable to race this evening, so Temp Fear's been drafted in to fill that slot. Is there any other reserves that are on track today that we should know about?
There is no other reserves, but we did have a couple of reserve drivers on standby just in case a couple of drivers may drop out, but you never know. If somebody goes offline and has internet issues for the feature race, they may get drafted in, so they're still on standby.
Okay. I'll give out a quick apology as well. I believe Casely wasn't available on Friday night for the random sort of cars and tracks events that he's been doing on the Friday night. So anyone that was waiting for that, apologies for that on Casely's behalf. If he gets on the podium later, we'll grill him about it. We'll see if he was caught short in the bathroom, or whether it was a night out on the town with the missus, or a night out on the town without his missus. Who knows? But I have got a question of the day for you, James. We didn't talk about it beforehand, but I thought, you know what, I'll just find something a little bit random. So that's exactly what I've done. So I'm going to have a bit of a question of the day, and if anyone's watching and wants to have a go at guessing it, they can do. But it is mainly for James, this, because I thought I'd put you under a little bit of pressure. And it is quite a simple one, really. Which Mercedes... What was you going to say?
It's not a Star Wars question, is it?
No, it's not. And while you were in the bathroom, I did hear your dad, who sounds just like you, shout, "James, what's this about Star Wars? I don't like Star Wars, I like Batman." So yeah, it's surprising how well his microphone works. Okay, so here's question of the day. Dead simple one for you, as the drivers are out there getting themselves warmed up. Which Mercedes road car is the fastest 0 to 60?
Road car?
Yep.
I would probably say... Oh.
I can't say I've heard of any of those Mercedes. The Mercedes the Mercedes are.
I'm going to be kicking myself. Let's say... my mind's gone blank. Could it possibly be the 190E?
It's a good guess, but you know what? It isn't. But I'll give you a little bit of a hint. You know, something that might help you out. There is a Mercedes Le Mans car that was made into a road car once.
Right, because I do know the 190E did run. It was slightly in collaboration with Cosworth, and I know that they had rapid acceleration, but I'm not too sure about the Le Mans version.
Ooh, well, I'll let you think about it, and if anyone is watching and wants to have a guess, feel free to do so. I'll try and keep an eye on YouTube as best as I can. Less than a minute left of this warm-up session, and as we said, we're going to be going straight into the sprint race, which I'll tell you what, Woolhouse, is it something hard somewhere? Yeah, we are going to be going straight into the sprint race, which is a random grid order, and for the drivers, it's kind of like hell for leather for 7 laps, but really it's one of those where you kind of want to win it, but at the same time, if you win it, you're starting at the back of the grid for the feature race. But having said that, I mean, Michelin Man and Casely showed it doesn't matter if you start at the back. If you got the pace, you can still win the feature race.
Yeah, if you've got the car that's good at overtaking, if the setup's right for overtaking, go for it. It's just down to the luck of the draw, though, with this random grid start.
Yep. Let's have a quick look at who was quickest in that warm-up session, and it was Michelin Man, 4/10 quicker than Casely 1. Now, me and James are going to have to be very, very quick here on our buttons to try and get off the circuit. I mean, with the random grid order, obviously we've no idea where the drivers are going to be positioned. It could be a completely mixed up grid with the fastest at the back, and if it's anything like last week,
the front.
and so am I. So me and James, we're on the front row of the grid, which means that we've got to try and get out the way as quick as we can.
Done.
I've managed to do it. Okay, so the drivers are away, and I tell you what, Dave the Harp, 3 wide into turn 1. I heard a lot of carnage, I think, and there's a brake marker board being sent flying. But Dave the Harp's now down to 3rd place with GBM Vectra leading the way and a few cars facing the wrong direction. Vectra's gone massively, massively deep into turn 3. That's not going to be good for him. He could get absolutely swamped now, and he is getting swamped. 3 wide, bit of contact, a bit more bumping further up, and cars flying off in the background as well. And those cones, I didn't think they were going to last very long.
Dexadrum has just gone straight into a wall. He will not be happy with that. Had a few clobbers off the start as they're heading down Hanger Straight, and yeah, he is at the back of the grid.
Vectra's lost it. Oh, it through Stowe, I believe it is. I think he lost it under braking. Ended up taking an interesting line around the corner.
Michelin Man going for a move on Oldman, I think it is. No.
Well, it was on Adam 4600, I believe. Yeah, it's still side by side, heading to the start-finish line.
Adam's showing that he's not going to lie down and let him through. He's going to fight him tooth and nail. But I think that may be GT Gavin in front going a touch wide, no?
It was, yeah. He's got a power boost penalty. He's going slow. He's getting swamped now. 3 places, I believe, he has just lost.
He's just been shoved off the road by Oldman. Oldman has been warned after... we've got a car off as well. But Oldman has been warned after the first race of his slight dive bombs that have been a bit, shall we say, suspect.
Okay,
Michelin Man up the inside of Adam 4600.
Looks like he's got the move done. He has. He covers Adam 4600 off. Doesn't allow him to have the inside line into the final chicane. Now, I've not really seen who is up at the front at the moment, but someone's heading into the pits backwards. I'll tell you what, one of the leading cars, though, they've had a bit of a mare. Unless they've... it's a car that's had to pit, because Michelin Man, Adam 4600, battling with them now. Heading into turn 1.
Yeah, this is very, very close between Michelin Man, Kulu Kutu, and Adam 4600. I believe it is Michelin Man now into 3rd place.
Oh, Kulu Kutu!
He's been shoved off.
Yep, got his braking rather wrong there. Took it a little bit deep, pushing Michelin Man a little bit wide. Let's have a look who's up at the front. Dave the Harp, doing similar to what he did in the feature race last time out, where he managed to avoid all the carnage at the start, pulled out a little bit of a gap, and leading the race at the moment. Though he is being followed by Hesselden, who may feel he's got the pace to catch and beat Dave in the next 5 laps.
Adam 4600 has just been done by Michelin Man, but it's coming back at him. He's just completely done the up and under on Michelin Man. Adam 4600's racecraft is absolutely fantastic.
Which means you've just cursed him, and now the 2 following cars are going to get involved in this battle as well. And that is Kulu Kutu. That's Jason facing the wrong direction. Yeah, Kulu Kutu and GT Gavin too. So let's see how Adam 4600 copes with Michelin Man behind him, heading towards turn 3.
Yeah, the pressure that Michelin Man is putting him under is absolutely intense, as I think GT Gavin's half-heartedly going for a move there, but he's pulled out. Adam 4600 really needs to keep his head in the right place and not get too flustered by Michelin Man, but his pace in a straight line is impressive. I think he may go for the right-hand side of the track and go for the inside. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, now these cars do have DRS as well, and they are in full use. But the DRS works in an interesting way as Michelin Man does make that move. The wing drops down, the whole wing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's the opposite of F1 wings, where they flip up, these flip down.
Oh, Adam 4600 just ran a little bit wide.
Is that maybe a power boost?
It is. It's a power boost penalty. How many places is he going to lose? Oh, that's damage. Oh, the tiniest eclipse. That was a bit of damage for him. Temp Fear and GBM Oldman have got past him.
Yeah, Temp Fear, if he hasn't got, I think he may have a touch of damage. Rear end does look to be squirming a slight bit now.
What I'm not noticing at the moment, James, and you might want to go and have a look, see if you can find him, is where Caseley is.
Yeah, Dave Hart P1, Hesselden P2, Michelin P3, Kulukutu P4, under pressure from GT Gavin, Temp Fear P6, Adam 4600 P7, Ullman P8, Jason P9, Caseley P10, and he looks to have a lot of damage.
Okay, so Caseley's obviously been involved in something, and that'll be good for Michelin Man, but not good for Caseley. However, as I'm just watching GT Gavin applying pressure to Kulukutu, and Kulukutu went a little bit deep into the chicane. That's going to give GT Gavin a good run at him heading up towards the first corner. Yeah, for Caseley, as long as he's able to qualify for the feature race, he might not mind the loss of points in this one, if he can qualify well and avoid any dramas.
He may not mind the loss of points, but he knows he's already on the back foot after round one. Fair haul of points. I believe Michelin Man's got over him already.
Yep, I mean 12-point gap already, and it's looks like it's going to be extended here. I'm still watching Kulukutu and GT Gavin too. GT Gavin's got a good run on him heading down the hangar straight, but not quick enough in a straight line to attack him. He's going to have to hope that he gets Kulukutu out of shape in the corners, which Kulu is... Oh, Michelin Man! He's off ahead! He's off the track! He's had a nightmare there. He's lost him. He was catching Hesselden, but he's just had a nightmare coming out of Stoke. Kulukutu and GT Gavin still going at it, though. Oh.
Gavin's up the inside. Oh! Clobbers the curb, and Kulukutu, I don't think he's had a decent run out of that final corner.
It's a tricky set of corners though, because you kind of want to defend it, but if you defend it you lose so much time. Just want to have a quick look up at the front. Dave the Harp still leading, as you mentioned a moment ago. The gap to Hesselden looks like it's opened up a little bit, and Michelin Man has dropped back because of that big off that he's just had. And then we've got this closest battle near the front, Kulukutu, GT Gavin, Temp Fear right behind them. Adam 4600 still there, and he's unfortunate he got that power boost penalty as well. GBM Oldman. Sorry, go on.
Adam 4600 is looking very, very quick in these DTM cars. I'm surprised by the pace of Vectra and Oldman as well. Oldman's looked really good in practice all week, and the race is already complete.
Oh wow, okay, that caught us off guard. Dave the Heart wins, woohoo! Well done, Dave. Hesselden second, Michelin Man third. Kulukutu and GT Gavin side by side over the line, and I'm not sure who got it.
I think it was Kulukutu just got it.
Okay, well I'll pop up the grid order. That went way too quick, really.
7 laps. Last week it was 8. This week it was 7. Slightly longer than Monza Short, but that was absolutely rapid. Yeah. So I will run through the grid order then. Let's have a look at that.
I'll tell you what, just hang on a moment, James, because I don't think it's complete yet. MTLD. Woolhouse. I don't think you'll get away with that one, my friend. He's gone for the pit lane to cross the line before MTLD OT.
No.
And I don't think it's actually worked on the timing board. But yeah.
Yeah, this hasn't been put out to any of the drivers, but anybody thinking about doing that will be automatically disqualified.
Admittedly, I could be wrong. It might not have been Woolhouse. It may have been one of the leading pack of cars that did genuinely drive into the pits. But yeah, it did look like it was Woolhouse going for a sneaky move. But yeah, Dave the Harp, though, took the win. If you want to take us through the order, James.
So yeah, Dave Hart P1, Hesselden P2, Michelin Man P3. So them three not allowed to qualify. They will start at the back of the grid for the feature race. P4, GT Gavin. P5, Kalukutu. P6, Temp Fear. P7, GBM Oldman. P8, Adam 4600. P9, Jason. P10, Casely. Very disappointing. P11, Vectra. P12, Dex. And P13 is Dot, P14 is Woolhouse, and me and yourself in the commentary box. That is the grid for the sprint race.
Yep, and I will take it back. I don't think it was Woolhouse that went for the pit lane, but to be fair, it did look like it was him doing it, but no, it wasn't. He's only just come into the pits now. Obviously, this is where James is going to have to jump out of the lobby to set up a new one with the right tyre wear for the feature race. So he's going to go and do that, and then we'll get the qualifying session underway. I mean, one thing I will say is the drivers did say on the podium last week that they enjoyed the sprint race, but I tell you what, from a commentary perspective, they are great fun, but we're kind of used to dealing with sort of like 30-35 lap long races, so when they go as quick as they just have done, it's very easy to be caught by surprise there. And Dave the Harp, I mean, what can we say? I mean, he showed in the sprint race last time out he was comfortable in fourth, and in the feature race he was very comfortable when he was leading the race. It was only through a bit of additional tyre wear that he had that he couldn't really hold on to the lead and ended up with a second place. So for Dave, that's a fantastic result. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on as someone's car has just been forcefully dragged into the garages. I think that might have been Woolhouse. His car has pretty much just been destroyed. Okay, so James, if you can let me know when you've sent us an invite.
Yeah, they'll be on the way in 30 seconds.
Okay, I can see there what the car should look like at the end of a race. Nice and shiny, no damage on it. But yeah, I mean, these Mercedes DTM cars, though, they are fabulous cars to drive. As we said, DRS is available to them at any point. They don't have to be within range of a car. The drivers are free to use them whenever they like and use it to the full effect. And I mean, around this circuit, they're going to be able to use it down the start finish, possibly even through turns 1, 2 and 3, but it depends on their setup. Sorry, through turns 1 and 2 heading up to 3. And then obviously all the way down the hangar straight. It'd be a risk to try and use it around Stowe, but if a driver's got his setup balanced enough, it could be done.
So invite has been sent, and the rest of the drivers will be on the way in. The lobby is set now for a 28 lap feature race with ×2 tyre wear. So now we will see how they get on with the front three, which was David Harp, Hesselden and Michelin Man. They will not be allowed to qualify.
Yep, as we mentioned earlier as well, though, I mean, starting from the back of the grid for the likes of Michelin Man and K-Slate, it was not a problem. It was not a problem at all. I mean, I could see Michelin Man working his way through the grid against Lee, whether Hesselden and Dave the Harp can do the same, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It'd be nice if they can.
Now, I think this is the big opportunity for Casely is to take pole and try and pull as much of a gap as he can. He just needs as many points on the board after that sprint race. It's really shot him in the foot.
Very much so. I mean, really, in some respects, and this is no disrespect to Michelin Man, he kind of needs he needs to take the pole and the victory and hope that Michelin Man finishes pretty much dead last to try and, if he wants to gain any points on him. But what he's got to be aware of is that Dave the Harp is only 1 point behind himself, and actually now will be ahead of him. So he's got to consider, he's got to factor in Dave the Harp as well.
Yeah, it's as we saw though last season when Casely started winning the first few races, it became clear that once you get on a roll, you almost become unstoppable, and psychologically you start to think, I can't do it. Whereas you've just got to completely blank slate it and just completely go for it and forget about everybody and just try and do your best.
Yep. Okay, won't take long for the drivers to get into us. I just thought it might be an idea for me to send you an invite, James, in case you have any issues, because we have seen that on ProjectCARS before. So apologies for the blue screen, folks. I'll mention the question of the day again as well, but I can tell you, James, the answer you gave wasn't right. So I will sort of give a question of the day again. It's quite a simple one, really, and it is. Which Mercedes road car is the fastest at 0 to 60? Now, considering that I've told you that it's not the Mercedes E190, do you want to have another guess?
Le Mans car. I didn't think any would be a road legal. Just designed on a Le Mans car.
I was just throwing that one in to put a spanner in the works. You know the old Mercedes Le Mans car on this that was one of the DLC cars? They did make a road-going version of it and a convertible version of it as well. However, it wasn't that car, even though it looks absolutely phenomenal. So as James is making sure that he's got his settings right, hopefully, and also that try and work out what the answer to the question of the day is. And if anyone's watching that wants to have a guess at it, feel free to do so. I will put James out of his misery a little later on. For the drivers, though, it's a moment to take a little bit of a breather and think about their setup throughout that sprint race, because if their setup didn't feel right during the sprint race, they can make alterations to it for the feature race, can't they, James?
Aye, definitely. It's you've just got to, if you've had a bit of a shocker, at least you've been able to gauge everybody's capabilities. I mean, straight away there we saw once again Michelin Man picked up the baton straight away from last week of being absolutely incredible in overtaking. Adam 4600 made it very, very difficult for him, and I think Dave the Harp and Hesselden really need to pay Adam 4600 just send him a box of chocolates or something for that.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I've watched Adam 4600 race for a long time. I mean, he's been part of Front Row Racing for a long time. He used to compete under a different name, and I've seen him make improvements on, for example, the F1 games. But ProjectCARS is really where he sort of showed what he's really capable of, and the guy has got speed, he has got ability. I think a lot of the time it depends on the car and the setup, and if he gets a car and a setup that he likes, he's got to be considered, and I wouldn't be surprised if he finds himself potentially winning a race now and again. But anyway, we are into a 10-minute qualifying session now, and I tell you what, Casely has wasted no time whatsoever. He is straight out there. I've got a feeling he may be driving angry, although he's not going to have the co-star that Nicolas Cage did. I can be pretty much sure of that one, because if he did, he wouldn't be driving at all. His PlayStation would be turned off, the lights would be turned down, and there'd be some strange noises like James makes every now and again. So Casely 1 then, about to start, first flying lap for him. Do you reckon he's going to be pole position, James?
I think he may be, seen as Michelin Man is out of the picture in terms of qualifying. He's run very nicely through turn 1 and 2. We are currently running through the link and through Beckett's. It's not really part of the Formula 1 circuit, that, but he's now heading down the hangar straight. It's all about keeping the car as far over to the left-hand side so you can open up through Vale.
So his car's looking absolutely planted through there. No dramas whatsoever. Let's see how he gets on, being hard on the brakes into the chicane. Yeah, looking at...
The corner is very, very awkward. You want to try and straighten the car up, but the car wants to go in a straight line. You want to go right. It's all about getting it nailed down. 59.5 is a very, very decent time.
Yep, okay, Adam 4600, he's coming into the final corners. I must admit, I was not a big fan of these particular corners. I always preferred the older layout of the Silverstone circuit, and that's an. I wonder if that was opening the DRS a little bit too soon.
Definitely.
Yeah, because that can easily happen. I mean, like I said, if you've got a car where the rear grip can cope, you can maximise it. But it has got a limit, and Adam 4600 found it there. I'm just having a look at Jason. If you can't tell he's Swedish, you will when you see his car. So he's coming round the final corner now. Let's see how he gets on. As we know, it is a very, very short lap, which means drivers can fuel up and do a few, or they can take the fuel out and get in as many laps as they can on low fuel.
As we saw there with Adam 4600 having that spin with the DRS, Jason's getting held up very much through Village, through the link. I think that may have been GT Gavin, maybe wanting to turn his mirrors on, make sure that he can see what's coming up behind him. But yeah, Jason now heading down the back straight. As we were saying with the DRS opening, it really does hurt you if you haven't got the stability control turned on. We've removed it just to make using the DRS as hard as possible. Don't want to make it so easy so that you can go through corners and open DRS. That's just not what DRS is there for.
No, I mean, DRS is an overtaking tool. I mean, I know when I was doing laps in this car around the Le Mans circuit, I had the car set up so I could literally run DRS absolutely everywhere, apart from obviously in the tighter corners. Because you can set it up to be used, and Jason, he's gone 8th. I see Kulu Kutu's in the pits, Woolhouse just coming out. Dexy Drum, I think he's on a flying lap now. He may be the car that was just ahead of Jason. Yes, he is. He's currently sitting in 5th place, and the track's going to get very, very busy during the qualifying session and during the race as well. I mean, anyone that was watching last time out in Monza, as soon as you start getting into lapping cars, it becomes absolutely frantic. Thankfully, the Silverstone circuit is a little bit longer, but it could still end up with a similar situation. And again, James, you want to mention about blue flags?
Yeah, well, the blue flag situation probably needs to be applied in qualifying, though, as Kulu Kutu has just come up behind Jason, and Jason hasn't moved over, and I think Jason's actually holding up somebody else's. It may have been Casely.
Well, I think...
but yeah,
go on.
The situation with the blue flags in the race is pretty much unlike Formula 1, where you're shown a couple of blue flags and then you've got to get off the racing line and let the leaders through. With this, you can stick on the racing line, and even though they're a lap ahead, you've got to make them fight for it. It's not about lying over and letting people through. This is about racing, and it's part of a craft that drivers need to learn, which is overtaking backmarkers. Yeah,
now qualifying... Sorry, excuse me, I've just had a coughing fit. Qualifying is very different, because if you're on a flying lap yourself and you've got a car behind you, you don't have to let that car past. But obviously, if you're on a slower lap, yeah, you definitely should get out of the way, really. But if you are on a flying lap yourself, as Temp Fear goes and positions himself in 3rd place. Yeah, if you're... Go on.
Temp Fear's just lost it through turn 1. He's gone backwards into the gravel.
Well, I jumped off board of him because I spotted that we've got slightly dodgy cameras on the start-finish straight in the feature race here. It's showing me a close-up of the windows of the garages, or the Silverstone wing, which is really what we don't want to see, but there we go. So yeah, qualifying, I mean, traffic in qualifying, it's for me, it's one of those, if you're on a flying lap and you're improving, yeah, you don't have to get out of the way. If you're not improving though, yeah, shift.
Temp Fear and Oldman are doing a lot to impress. Temp Fear just coming in as a reserve driver, but it may be for a couple of weeks, with Danev sending his wheel back to Thrustmasters. Temp Fear may end up with a couple of races here. Danev, as soon as he heard that Temp Fear would be racing, he did actually ask me saying, if Tempfear gets some decent points, does that go on my points tally? I said no.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure if it were any other driver, he wouldn't have been asking that question.
No, I mean, it's something that I wasn't going to ask you, but I was going to sort of mention and emphasise, sort of perhaps with you, that okay, it is a reserve driver, but it doesn't mean that the points go to Dan Evs. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to be driving around the circuit to get points.
Exactly, you've got to be there to win it. Yep. So currently, Casely is improved to a 59.4, just coming through the final couple of corners. Will this even improve on that? He seems to be carrying blistering pace through some of the corners. Let's see if this is an improvement or not. No, it isn't. So P1, Casely, P2, Oldman, P3, Tempfear, P4, GT Gavin, P5, Vectra, P6, Dot, P7, Adam 4600, P8, Dex, P9, Woolhouse, P10, Kalu Kutu, P11, Jason, and then we've got the three that cannot qualify, which will be Hesselden, Michelin Man and Dave Hart.
Oh, I'll tell you what, GBM Oldman just got very, very close. He's within 2/10 of Casely. So Caseley's got a little bit of pressure on him, although saying that, GBM Oldman's laps are over now, and he's gone wide himself. Caseley's just made a right mess of the exit of Stowe. I don't think he's going to improve now either, so he may just be safe. Tempfear's in the pits. Quite a few guys are. A minute left, so GBM Vectra, he's out there and can still improve.
Yeah.
Driving the German liveried car around the Silverstone circuit. That's very, very brave with the amount of Hamilton fanboys that tend to be here. Oh, and he's just gone a little bit deep. That could compromise him, could cost him a little bit of lap time. He could do with finding about a second overall if he wants to try and fight for pole position. Can he improve? Yes, he can. He gains 1 place up to 4th.
If he had nailed it coming towards the club corner there, I would have said that would have been a 1 minute dead easy.
Oh, Adam 4600's just spun it in club. MLT or MTL Dot. He's coming through club now. So heading up to the start-finish line for him. Currently sitting in 6th. Can he gain? No, he can't. It's still 6th for him. And that is it. There is nobody else out there on track, I don't believe. No, that's it. Session over. So confirmation of the qualifying order then. Casely on pole. Oldman on the front row of the grid with him. Tempfear, Vectra take the 2nd row. GT Gavin and Dot take the 3rd row. Adam 4600 and Dex take the 4th row. And there is the rest of the order with Hesselden, Michelin Man and Dave the Harp starting from the back of the grid. It's going to be interesting to see how they get on. Okay, now we're into a 5-minute warm-up session, and James, do you want to just quickly mention about the tyre wear difference from the sprint race to the feature race?
Yeah, the sprint race, because we really don't want drivers pitting during the sprint race. We want the drivers to be able to push flat out from start to finish. The tyre wear for the sprint race is set to real. Now, when we come to the feature race, we do like to spice it up a little bit, so we've decided to use ×2 tyre wear, which means the tyres will just degrade twice as quick. So that will probably force drivers into a pit stop, but we have seen drivers in the past go from the start all the way to the finish, but it's going to be a very, very long way around here. To cope with the tyre wear, I think the drivers will have to use hard tyres, and even then I don't think they'd give enough grip to be able to constantly pump in decent lap times.
No, I mean obviously Michelin Man as well, he made a sort of bit of a announcement really on the podium interviews last Sunday, and we will do podium interviews at the end of this feature race as well, that he had a different compound of tyre on the front compared to the rear, which I remember Dave the Harp saying, oh, I didn't think about that, but I wouldn't be surprised if quite a few of them are now, and it is a wise thing to do. I mean, this circuit, for example, the front is going to take a lot of punishment around here. Monza was a little bit different. Monza, it was sort of the rears were perhaps going to take a little more punishment, slightly lower speed corners, a bit more traction, whereas here it is a lot more high speed corners. I mean, you got the club, as we know, it's hard on the brakes, slow speed corner, and then we've got turn 3, and the rest of it is all high speed changes of direction, which is really going to punish those front tyres. So we may have drivers running medium or hards on the front and perhaps softer compounds on the rears.
Yeah, definitely. I've done a chunk of practice round here, and I can say that the drivers are currently pumping in lap times a lot quicker than I was able to do, so hats off to them.
Well, Michelin Man, he's managed to set one lap time, and it was a 1:02.42, which he'll be hoping to try and improve on that pace. But having said that, if that's full race fuel, that's not bad, because it's 8 tenths behind what Caseley did on lower fuel.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Caseley, though, it looks like he's been sat in the pits yet. He doesn't want to show his race pace. That's what it is. He wants to see what Michelin Man's race pace is with the fuel in. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I mean, people will use the warm-up sessions for a number of reasons. Setup changes, getting their fuel sorted out, getting their pit strategy sorted out, or just to spy on the other drivers to see what lap times they're doing. And I must admit, I think if I was on track thinking someone's spying on me, I'd probably purposefully go a little slow. But that's just me. I like to do a bit of sandbagging.
Definitely. I mean, one thing that we've worked out with these cars as well is the rear ballast. You don't want it all the way to the rear, but you want it just slightly behind it being in a completely balanced setting to get the most out of the cornering. Now, when you add more and more fuel, the fuel tank is in the centre of the car. So if you want to be cheeky, you could maybe put the weight more towards the rear. Then when you fill it up, you'll have an overall more decent balance as the fuel sits in the centre of the car.
It's interesting to know that. I mean, obviously where the fuel tank is positioned can have a massive effect, and I mean, having the fuel tank in the centre of the car makes sense, definitely. So obviously if it's over the front end, then the front end will be heavy until the fuel comes out, and if it's over the rear end, then obviously the rear end's heavy until the fuel comes out, and it can have a massive effect on how the car handles. Okay, Caseley 1, he's going for a practice start here, so we'll ride on board with him. A little bit of wheel spin, almost sounded like it bogged down a bit there, perhaps not as quick as I was expecting to see, but he'll be hoping for perhaps a slightly better start than that for the feature race, which will be coming in 8 seconds time.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. The first race, the sprint race, completely flew by us. Let's see how this one goes.
Yep. Now, James, if you want to take us through the action at the start of the race, obviously we're going to have to retire as quickly as we can. But yeah, if you can take us through the action as we get underway, and it'll be interesting to see where the likes of Michelin Man, Hesselden and Caseley get to.
We'll check what's going on at the front if you want to check out those 3 that were unable to qualify.
So here we go then for the start of Race 2 at the Silverstone International Circuit.
It's pretty clean up at front. Caseley has got a decent lead over Oldman and Tempfear's really getting feisty with this one. We've got Dex and Adam 4600 slamming side by side. We've got 3 cars in all the same livery. This is really going to help us out, guys. We've then got Dot in P6 that's under pressure. Who is that? Is that Kulukutu? Yeah,
Yes.
I think he's having a little look as Vector in the German livery car is now up to P6.
A Michelin Man, he's managed to sneak through. He's now up to P8, and he is ahead of Dave the Harp and Hesselden, I believe. I think he's ahead of both of them. Just to have a check. Yes, they are, because they're running 10th and 11th.
Michelin Man's just gone side by side with
Kulukutu.
And Kulukutu is not giving up on this, but he's just driven all the way around the outside. Woolhouse is just completely driven into the side of Kulukutu there.
And now Kulukutu's being overtaken once again by MTL Dot. Apologies for getting your name wrong there. You should have an easier one. So a little bit frantic.
10th out! 10th out! Oh no, he is still going. Let's have a look at his car. Turn 1. He was bragging to me about how quick he was going to be, but I don't think he'll have been bragging about that one down at turn 1. I think a few choice words will be flying out of the cockpit.
Well, he's the quickest in the gravel, let's put it that way. Dot and Woolhouse look like... No, it's GT Gavin. They're still fighting side by side, nudging each other a little bit. Getting a little bit frantic in there as well. But let's have a look what's happening up at the front. K-Slay 1, he's got a gap at the front to GBM Oldman. But Adam 4600 is where the action's happening.
Yeah, he's under a lot of pressure. As Michelin Man is trying it all the way around the outside. Can he take both of them? That is absolutely amazing. Just braked so much later than them. They went defensive. He just went, right, you're going to go left, I'm going to go right. He just took the pair of them.
Well, it's a move that he kind of needed to do. He's managed to get himself up to 3rd place now, and he's got a bit of a job on his hands to try and catch up to the leading pair.
He's not far behind them, though. He must only be about 5-6 seconds behind them.
Well, we shall wait and see how that's going to go on. I tell you what, Hesselden, he's trying to... Yeah, it is. It's Hesselden and Dave the Hart working their way past Woolhouse. We've seen Woolhouse get a little bit feisty earlier on. We may see it happen again as Dave the Hart looks like he's trying to attack Hesselden, but he hasn't quite got the straight line speed, and the problem for him is Woolhouse has, and he's having a look, but decides better of it, and that's where it's sometimes better to wait. Dave, though, he's really having a look on Hesselden.
Woolhouse carrying so much speed through the high-speed corners, showing that he's probably got a fair chunk of rear wing on there. But yeah, Dave the Harp is really sniffing at the back of Hesselden now. One mistake and he will be through.
Well, GBM Vectra was fighting and still is with Adam 4600, is it? No, it's Dex,
yeah,
my apologies.
Sorry, Dex, yeah.
Yeah, GT Gavin, I think, sorry, GBM Vectra. He's gone deep. That's going to allow Dex to attack him back, and that's going to bring in the following 4 cars into this battle.
Hesselden's having a cheeky look up the inside. Dave the Harp's also sniffing behind them. This is going to go about 3 wide as both Hesselden and Adam 4600 start clobbering each other down the hanger straight. No, sorry, wasn't Adam 4600. This is going mental. Now, we've got Hesselden, Vectra, Dave the Harp, Woolhouse, all in the same shot. If you want to talk about frantic.
Yeah, you know, this is not going to end particularly brilliantly. GBM Vectra's managed to get away from it. Woolhouse, though, he's got away from it. Not in the way he wanted. And Hesselden, he's got a power boost penalty. Everybody has to avoid him and just about manages to do so. I think it's when that many cars are trying to get into that part of the circuit altogether, yeah, it's not always going to work.
So Dex, Dave the Harp is through past Dex. Dex is now under pressure from Kulukutu and Dot. Kulukutu and Dot have both got the same black and white livery.
Yep.
Kulukutu, can he take it round the outside, which will eventually become the inside? No. Dot, Dex seems to be able to hold on to that one, but it looks like Dot will be on the pair of them down the hanger straight.
It's so difficult when the drivers are similar liveries and similar names. Dex, is he going to get past by 2 cars? Oh!
Dex went in deep there and slammed into the side of Kulukutu. Now Dot is trying it round the outside in front of Kulukutu, and he's pulled it off.
And just ahead of them, Dave the Harp's trying to make a move on GBM Vectra. It looks like he's managed to do it.
A big crash.
Oh, Adam 4600, he's got into the gravel where Temp Fear did. That's not going to be particularly brilliant for him. He's going to come back on the track, is he? No, that's it. Take the service road there. Oh, Dave the Harp, he's going slow. Is that a power boost penalty? Yes, it is, because Vectra's just got straight past him. That's going to put Dave right in the middle of a battle he doesn't want to be in. And having said that, this gaggle of 5-6 cars, they don't want him in it either.
So yeah, Dave Harp under pressure now from Dex and Kulukutu. Dex in the yellow and black livery, Kulukutu in the black and white livery. He's got Dot all over the back of him in a similar black and white livery car. Dot's going to the outside as Kulukutu defends. Can Kulukutu hold off? He's gone wide, he's gone too deep. Can Dot do the switchback? No, it looks like Kulukutu's just covered that one off.
Well, frantic action in the opening 7 laps of the race. So we've still got 22 laps to go. Is it 5 laps? Sorry.
Hesselden, I thought he was going to get another power boost, but no, he's in the wall at the final corner. He's lost control of the car.
He's got damage on that car, Hesselden has. That's going to make a very, very difficult race for him. And obviously damage can be fixed in the pit stops. That's another reason why we do want the drivers to have to pit, because if some drivers do have to pit for damaging or repairing damage, then at least they know the rest of the field isn't just going to drive off all the way to the end of the race. They are going to have to pit as well.
Vectra is now under pressure from Dave Hart coming down the hanger straight for P4. Dave Hart's going up the inside. Looked like Vectra there got a bit spooked. Didn't realise how close he was.
It was a nice move by Dave, and he's opened up a little bit of a gap already. If the camera stays on them, we'll see if he's... Oh, in the background!
Yeah, it's Dot. It's Kulukutu went deep to defend from Dot. Almost slammed into the back of Dex there. So now Dot is really pressuring Kulukutu. Kulukutu is the black and white one in 7th place. Dot is the one in 8th place. Kulukutu's gone deep though in turn 1. Dot may have a run round the outside of turn 2, but no, Kulukutu's forced him under the grass there. Oh, and Dot's just given him a nudge to say thank you very much. You're going to shove me off circuit. I'll do a little bit to you as well. And he's straight through, so that's Dot up to P7 now.
I've got a feeling, though, that might not be over. Let's have a look. Dave the Harpy has opened that gap up. Michelin Man, he is beginning to close that gap in quite nicely on GBM Oldman, who is running in 2nd place. And ahead of him is Caslow, who's just gone past a back marker. Yeah, I think you're right there. Now, for GBM Oldman, it's a good position he's got himself in at the moment, but he can't afford to relax too much, because if he allows Michelin Man to close this gap in too quickly, he's going to be he's going to be frustrated with himself, isn't he?
Oh, definitely. Kulukutu is not giving up on this. Dot running through turn 1, and Kulukutu's just trying to hang on to the back of him. Can he try and outfox him through turn 3? No, it looks like Dot is trying to pull away now, and he's trying to get after Dex, which is in P6. Vectra's put in P5, and he's losing heaps of time to Dave Hart. Dave the Harp has got a huge gap now to Michelin Man. Michelin Man's pulled out such a lead over Dave the Harp. I think Dave the Hart's going to be almost wanting to get out his hankies and start crying.
Quite possibly. Okay, so something we need to keep an eye on is this gap between GBM Oldman and Michelin Man. In a moment, I will try having a run through the order, because I think we're not far away from pit stops. I'll tell you, I'll run the order now. So we've got Casely 1 leading, GBM Oldman in 2nd place, Michelin Man in 3rd, Dave the Harp in 4th. He's got some time to try and make up now if he can. GBM Vectra, as you said, Dave the Harp's pulled away from him quite nicely, but Vectra running in 5th. Dex running in 6th. He's got a little bit of a gap to MTL Dot, and that gap is coming down, you know. James, keep an eye on that battle and let me know how it goes in a moment. Kulukutu running in 8th place, and not too far behind him is GT Gavin 2, who's quickly followed by Jason, who's running in 10th place. Then we got Temp Fear in 11th, who looks like he's changed the livery from the sprint race to the feature race, and that might be why this race hasn't gone so well for him. And then we've got Woolhouse in 12th place, and it looks like, is that Michelin Man that's trying to come past him? I think it is. Yes, it is. But we've got 1998 Woolhouse and Adam 4600 battling.
Sorry, Dex has gone for the pit lane, and I think he may have opened the DRS. Kulukutu's followed him in, and both cars seem to be glitched into each other. So Dexadrum has pulled into the pits. He's gone for a pit stop with 18 laps to go. The gap out in front, Casely has got a 5-second gap over Oldman. Michelin Man is now only a second and a half behind Oldman. So that gap between first and third is about 6.5 seconds.
Okay, as I was looking through the grid order then, there is a bit of a battle sort of towards the end of the grid, Woolhouse and Adam 4600, but also I spotted that Hesselden, he definitely has got damage, and he is running in 14th place at the moment, which is not a position that he would want to be in. But the guys that were in the pits, they've come out right next to GBM Oldman, and this could help out Oldman because they're going to be right between him and Michelin Man, so they might hold Michelin Man up a little bit as they're fighting for position.
Kulukutu up the inside, but Dexter Drum's gone deep through the exit in the yellow car, and Kulukutu's getting a better run. Oh, and there comes Michelin Man. He must have also... I think he's on the lap ahead of them.
He is.
So, yeah, this is all getting a bit mixed up now. I think Michelin Man doesn't really need all this aggravation, but I think he's... Kulukutu's trying to get after Oldman. And, Kulukutu's battling with Dex. They've just come out of the pits. So they're fighting for position, but Michelin Man, he's hunting down Oldman, so he was able to get past those back markers, and he is right on the back. Another car coming out of the pit, which is...
That's going to be Dotty.
Yeah, Kulukutu and Dexter Drum going deep at turn 3, sorry.
I'm going to have to cut you off, James. Michelin Man, he's on the back of... No, he's not. He was on the back of GBM Oldman, but he got a power boost penalty. He's going to lose a massive amount of time now. This is painfully slow.
Yeah, he's just getting going now. He's got a decent gap to David Hart. David Hart's only just starting to come onto the hangar straight, so he's got a decent gap over him, but all that hard work he's done has just been evaporated, as I'm seeing Dex and Kulukutu getting ever closer, coming towards the final couple of corners now.
Okay, Michelin Man is into the pits. GBM Vectra, he's had a spin that is heading on to the hangar straight, so where Michelin Man had his power boost penalty, he's had a bit of a problem himself. Just having a look now at MTL Dot, who is behind GBM Oldman, and Dot is on fresher tyres, which is why he's applying pressure to a car that is a lap ahead of him.
Yeah, definitely. It's all getting a bit mixed up now. But this is what makes it exciting. As, Dot and Dex is Dot's pulled out a fair gap over Dex in P10. Kulukutu is really closing in for position on the back of Dex. He's trying it round the outside. Can they get past Dex? As we've got another car going for the pit lane.
That's GBM Oldman going for the pits, but this move looks like it's... No, he's not gone for the pits. He's made a mistake. GBM Oldman is not in the pit lane. Have a quick look. He's had an absolute mare on the way in, I think. Dex, though, and Kulukutu still fighting it out for 10th and 11th place as they head up to turn 1.
So Oldman just heading towards his pit box. And Casely is also in the pits. So where is Michelin Man now? Michelin Man's now heading down towards the final couple of corners of the lap. Where will he come out? Casely's already on the move. Where is Oldman? Has he lost time to Michelin Man?
Oh yes, he has. Yeah, massive amount of time. Michelin Man, where is he coming down the start-finish line now? And where is Oldman?
He's on the exit. This is going to be close. Very close. Side by side out the exit, and Michelin Man's just jumped him.
I tell you what, Michelin Man will not know what's happened there, but that just goes to show. I mean, if Oldman hadn't have had his mistake, he would have been a mile ahead of Michelin Man, but because he did have some kind of a problem getting into the pits, Michelin Man's power boost penalty, which must have been a big one, has not really cost him anything. Overall, it's benefited him.
One thing we've completely gone under the radar. David Hart has not pitted yet.
Hang on a minute. Hang on. It's gone under your radar. I spotted it a lap ago. Because I spotted that when Casely was coming out of the pits, Dave the Harp had taken the lead. So, yeah.
I'm human or I'm stupid. It's up to you. Make up your minds.
You're Cupid. That's what you are.
But, yeah. Now, in the background, we've got 2 yellow liveried cars. Let's work out who that is.
Oh, he totally sideways on his way to the pits. He was very, very lucky there.
Temp Fear is down at the back of the grid, being GT Gavin 2 in 10th place and Hesselden in 12th. So these 3 heading down the hangar straight are very close together, but they're going to be absolutely depressed at the fact that they're so low down the grid now.
Well, they may gain a place depending on what's going to happen with GBM Vectra while he is in the pits and the mistake he's had. One of these guys is going for the pits. That's Hesselden. I'm surprised by that. It doesn't look like he's got damage on the car at the moment, so maybe it didn't change his tyres.
Looks to be slightly out of control heading into the pit lane there.
Okay, what's gone complete?
He's out of the race.
Is he out of the race? Are you sure he's not just in the pits?
Yep. Oh no! He sack me now.
I was about to say it's gone under James's radar, but Dave the Harper's pitted. But then you just gave me that absolute nugget of a comment. I thought I'd let you go with it.
Now it was the top of the. I think there may be a bridge running across the pit lane, and it looked to me like the top of a garage. So I thought he may have. Unfortunately retired, but no, he's still in. He's been P4. He's just come out behind a back marker, which I believe will be Woolhouse.
Yep.
Yeah. No, is it Woolhouse? Yeah, it is.
It is Woolhouse, so it's not for position, but Dave will want to get past him as quickly as he can. However, for Dave, I think a 4th place finish, he might be semi happy with that, you know. Oh yeah, and Woolhouse has kind of led him past. I mean, for Dave the Harp, starting from the back of the grid and finishing 4th, I think he'd take that, wouldn't he?
I think he would, but I think they'll all be depressed at the pace that Michelin Man's got as Kulukutu is now under pressure from Dex in the yellow liveried car coming down towards the pit entry, and they're all. Yeah,
Kulukutu's going for the pits.
They're both into the pits. Dex and Kulukutu. Kulukutu's gone deep though.
I think they're all right. GT Gavin, he's going to pass them. He's coming out of Stowe now.
Vectra is chasing GT Gavin for position as well.
Yep, so Vectra and GT Gavin, I think both have had interesting pit entries. I know Vectra did, definitely, so that's potentially cost him a position after his pit stop, but they are going to gain a couple now as they pass the drivers that have just made their stops and are still in the pits. Or Vectra very wide out of turn 1. Dex and Kulukutu, they're on their way, but they're losing more positions. Temp Fear coming around turn 1 and gains a place, I believe. Yep, as Dex has come out of the pits, so Temp Fear up to 9th place, and 8th is quite a distance away from him, to be honest. But I'm going to have a quick look at, see if we can have... Go on.
So Jason's just made a fundamental error. Looked in his rear view and realised that the yellow liveried car behind him was a lap in front. He goes to unlap himself, and MLTD 514 Dot does a classic Max Verstappen move, stays in behind and just takes the place straight off him. I don't think he realised that Dot was fighting him for position and he was stuck up behind.
I've got a feeling though that Jason's on old tyres. When I've had a look at him on a couple of occasions, it has looked like he's been struggling a little bit. But yeah, nice work from Dot to steal a position there. And the car ahead of Dot, is that for position? I don't think it is, but Dot's going for the pits.
It's very strange there. It's gone too deep as well.
Yep, that's going to cost him a little bit of time. I'm surprised by that. Oh, I tell you what, though, I think Dex and Temp Fear, yeah, they're battling side by side. I'm surprised by some of these guys that are doing 2 stops when they didn't necessarily pit so early that it would make you think that they needed a 2-stop.
They pitted around lap 14, which is about half distance, as Temp Fear and Dex are going side by side. Dex has gone deep though, and Temp Fear has just done the up and under.
So through club then, Dex showing the Front Row Racing F1 World Champion that this is Project Cars, and you having won a title means nothing, or should I say that's the other way round, because it was Temp Fear overtaking Dex. So my apologies there. Temp Fear showing Dex how it's done in both formats of the cars.
Yeah. Midweek comments from Temp Fear were getting a little bit cocky. I think it's shot him in the foot in this feature race, running down in 9th, but I think he will have been pleased with that move he's just made on Dex.
I'll tell you what we've got here. We've got in 6th place is GT Gavin, who's got Michelin Man right behind him, but obviously Michelin Man is in 2nd place at the moment. However, just behind both of these guys is Dot, who pitted recently. He's now on brand new tyres and he's catching GT Gavin. So as Michelin Man is sort of fighting with GT Gavin, this is helping Dot and could give him an opportunity to gain a position here.
Yeah, GT Gavin's making it hard, and I think Michelin Man may have just given him a slight nudge there through turn 1.
And that has allowed Dot to sneak through, but I think Gavin's going to chuck it up the inside. He is. So side by side they go, nudging each other wide. And guess what that's going to do? That's probably going to let the car behind them catch up a little bit. Who would that be? GBM Vectra, but he's too far away to really capitalise. Temp Fear, though, he's not that far behind GBM Vectra. So could have a switch of position, sort of 7th and 8th, or 8th and 9th in the near future.
Yeah, definitely. Jason's going under the radar in P5, doing a really good job.
Well, he's just crossing the start-finish line now. P6 is only just coming into club, so I think over the course of the next 6 laps, he might be fairly safe.
Oldman, to be fair, to say that Michelin Man was closing in on Oldman really, really rapidly, Oldman's not too far behind Michelin Man currently.
I'm wondering, whether some of these drivers who have done the multiple stops have decided to go for... they've perhaps started on a harder compound of tyre, and they've switched to softer compounds of tyres and realised that they don't last, so they've had to do...
Burning,
yeah, so instead of doing a 1-stop, they've sort of pitted halfway through the race, and then they've had to do another stop because the tyres are not going to make it. Now, just having a look at... Go on.
Sorry, Oldman's just clinging on to the back of GT Gavin now. I think he'll be trying to dispose of him as quick as possible.
It was not for position. This is just GBM Oldman trying to lap GT Gavin, but Gavin's trying to catch the car ahead. But if you're GT Gavin in this situation, it might benefit you to let the guy go, because when he catches the car ahead, that's when you can pass him, like Dot did to Jason earlier.
Yeah, you've just got to use your brain. I know that's pretty weird coming from me. Oldman's just completely slapped into the back of GT Gavin. What have you seen, D?
I said positions 8, 9 and 10th might get a little bit interested, and they are. GBM Vectra's ran wide. That's going to allow Dex to attack him. Dex has managed to get past Temp Fear at some point as well, because Temp Fear is now behind GBM Vectra, who's trying to have a look up the inside, but the room isn't there. And is that Dave the Harp in this battle as well?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
But
Dave's wanting to make his way through. He's in P4.
Yep, so Dave trying to pass back markers while back markers are trying to pass each other. This is going to get messy, I think, is the only way to put it.
Yeah, Vectra is slightly in front of Dave Harp. I think Dave Harp's flashing his light saying, please move out of my way, but, I think Vectra has lied down and let him through there. It didn't look like he was putting up much of a fight, but I think he's focusing more on Temp Fear, who is fighting for position.
Yep, he is fighting in 4th position now. These guys, it says 4 laps remaining for these. I want to just check how many laps are remaining for the leader. It might be on 4 as well. So I'll quickly do that while the camera changes. Yep. So Casely still leading quite comfortably at the moment. Not long until he's on to 3 laps remaining. Michelin Man is the whole hanger straight behind him, and he's trying to pass Jason, who is a back marker at the moment. GBM Oldman running in 3rd, and then the battle for 4th is not a battle for 4th. Because it's Dave the Harp trying to pass back markers. And I tell you what, Dave getting involved in that sort of gaggle of cars that were fighting for position has kind of split them up and opened them out a little bit. And it looks like Dex is letting Dave the Harp through, kind of. He's sort of offering him the racing line anyway. So yeah, Dave running in 4th at the moment. Jason running in 5th. Dot in 6th, and Dot is gaining on Jason. He's got 3 laps to do it. The gap is not that big. And GT Gavin, he's not that far away either. And then we've got the battle for 8th place to keep an eye on. James, I think his tyres are absolutely ridiculously quickly.
Yeah, it's taking at least 4 out of this now. I mean, the traction is just made out onto the starter hang towards him, and I think the move will be on right now.
There's a side-by-side then through Stowe, and hasn't got the tyres to fight that one, but he's got to be careful of GT Gavin too.
Yeah. He's also 2 laps to go.
Okay, well, I'll let you keep an eye on that. So just checking yet, Casely 1 still going. He's got 2 laps to go. And Michelin Man, is he gaining on him at all? Not enough.
Ullman's just working his way past Jason. That slightly slowed Jason down, and that's not what he wants, as he knows GT Gavin is going to be climbing all over him now.
Yep, the car behind Jason is GT Gavin, so that's a battle for position. And yeah, it's already
gone for it.
Yeah, the battle is already over. I think that's Jason realising that the tyres just aren't there. I mean, if the tyres were there for him, he'd be fighting these positions a hell of a lot harder, I think.
Tempfear and Vectra are fighting tooth and nail, but I think possibly Dex may be able to catch Jason, but it'd be a tough ask. But the amount of time that Jason's losing in every single corner could be on for it. Here we go.
Vectra,
final lap of the race.
Vectra's having a look at Tempfear, but he's not close enough, he's not quick enough. But I am going to go and ride on board with Casely for the last lap of the race. He's done exactly what he needed to do in this feature race, which was qualify in pole position, get away from any drama, and take the victory. He's only got a few corners to go, and Adam 4600 ahead of him. So yeah, for Casely 1, the result couldn't have gone any better, other than the fact that Michelin Man is in 2nd place behind him.
Ooh, Tempfear and Vectra have got still fighting away, but I think Casely has just been utterly dominant today.
He has. So Casely 1 then comes around the final corner for the final time, and he's going to take victory here in Silverstone. And what a way to round out round 2. Michelin Man, he's done fantastically well again to go from the back of the grid to get himself onto the podium, and it will be 2nd place for him. That's a good recovery, that. GBM Oldman running in 3rd place. I think he'll be quite satisfied with a 3rd place finish here at the Silverstone International Circuit. In 4th place, who was 4th?
I think at the moment we've got
Dave the
just
Harp
holding off Vectra. But yeah, it was Dave the Harp. I will bring up the full listings now.
Tempfear and Dave the Vectra, side by side across the line. Yeah, apologies about that, folks. I absolutely hate the way Project Cars works the scrolling through the drivers once they start crossing the line. But we won't go on about that.
Just making sure that Tempfear did finish in front of Vectra, and now have the confirmed results, which is Casely 1, P1. Michelin Man, P2, Oldman, P3, Dave the Hart, P4, Dot, P5, GT Gavin 2, P6, Jason, P7, Dex, P8, Tempfear, P9, Vectra, P10, Kaluka 2, P11, Woolhouse, P12, Hesselden, P13, Adam 4600, P14, all drivers finished the race.
Again, which is fantastic stuff. Now on my screen, obviously, it's showing GBM Vectra finishing ahead of Temp Fear, but that's because one of the things that Project Cars doesn't do is, basically it allows lap cars to keep driving around once the race is over, when really I know I did it last season where once the leaders had crossed the line, that was it, that was race over. If your laps behind whatever position you were in when you crossed the line was the position finishing. So if Vectra finds himself bumped down a position, that would be why. But anyway, K-Slay 1 took the victory, as we know. Fantastic drive from him. Michelin Man second place and GBM Oldman in third, and we'll get them in for a podium chat in a few moments' time. I just want to quickly mention a couple of questions that have been asked on YouTube. Razor Sharp, for example, asking when will you guys do an Xbox One series of Project Cars or Formula One? To be honest, there are no plans to do an Xbox One series of Project Cars or Formula One, not unless we have some very trustworthy Xbox One people to be able to run that kind of thing. At the moment, in Front Row Racing, the focus is on F1 on the PlayStation 4 and also Project Cars again on the PS4. Going into PC gaming is something I'm not sure will happen, simply because of how in-depth PC gaming can get and how easily it can be cheated. Anyway, James, are our podium sitters joined us?
All are present and accounted for.
Okay, so K-Slay won a fantastic victory there in the feature race. Did exactly what you needed to do. Qualify pole, get away from everybody at turn one, win the race. Only disappointment, Michelin Man finished in second. So how are you feeling?
Yeah, relieved. I needed that. Had a poor sprint race, so yeah. I knew it'd come through, but yeah, I needed to get that.
So what happened in the sprint race? I mean, we didn't manage to see it, but obviously we noticed that I think you finished in 10th place in the sprint race. So what happened there?
Oh, it was over at turn one. Someone came back on the track and I just couldn't avoid it. And then they had damage, so I just had their pace.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, James, would you like to grill our unhappy sounding feature race winner?
Yeah, I was just trying to work out the points difference, as we should just note that in the sprint race it was Dave the Harp, I believe, took the win, followed by Hesselden, and then it was Michelin Man in P3, and that was for the sprint race, which has sort of mixed up the grid. So Michelin Man has come away with 30 points today, and K-Slay has been able to try and fend off the gap, but the gap has grown as K-Slay, I believe, has pulled out 26 points, so he's just lost 4 with damage limitation today. K-Slay, how are you feeling?
Like you say, damage limitation. Couldn't really do anything about the first race, but I knew I was a bit lucky today. My pace was off. It came together just at the last minute, so yeah, damage limitation.
Were it literally in the sprint race, just out of the blue, out of the just completely caught off guard, or were it just mayhem?
I got a decent start. I was at the back again. I think I got up to about 12th or 11th off the start, but I got into turn one and then there was just cars coming back on the track and I couldn't avoid it.
Yeah.
I've got a question for him, if you don't mind me butting in. I want to know what her name is. You weren't there on Friday, you're off the pace today. Come on, what's her name?
Oh, was that on my friend's birthday? I was feeling awful all day yesterday, so I'm not doing that again.
Yeah. Well, now you know how Hesselden felt when he did a race on about 3 hours sleep and getting home at 7 in the morning. But okay, James, any more questions for K-Slay?
All I can say is after you did your best in the first round. You've come away with 2 points less than last week. To say that last week you didn't get taken out, and this week you completely got taken out, 2 points is not a big shift, and I'd say you've really put the sprint race to the back of your mind and pushed as hard as you could then, and capitalised on that pole position and never looked back, I think.
I did get taken out last week.
Oh yes,
if you remember.
We forget. Yeah, we forget.
No, not we. You forget. You forget.
Come on, it's always we. Anyway.
Yeah,
should we watch back on the commentary? You made a few Murrayisms throughout that race, probably about 5. But jumping to P2, Michelin Man.
Sorry, hang on, James, hang on. Right, it's Michelin Man. Who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Right, now you can go.
So Michelin Man, P2, P3 in the sprint race. How are you feeling, man?
Yeah, feeling good. I'd just like to apologise in the sprint race. I hit someone on the first corner. I think it might have hit me and you, Paisley. So I'd just like to apologise for that, if it was me hitting you.
We'll find out.
I didn't come back on the track, know what I mean, as I was taking the first corner.
Paisley will forensically be looking back at his footage now.
Yeah, I hit the light blue car anyway.
I think there was only one in that race as well.
At least he's man enough to admit it. So, Michelin, I mean, every single race now, it looks to me like you're able to mince your way through the field and just end up in a decent position in the sprint race, which then obviously puts you back and you start at the back. But I mean, to finish P2 from the back, what an absolutely incredible effort once again.
Yeah, the first race was hard to get through the traffic, you know what I mean? It was a bit aggressive out there in the first race.
Yeah, I think it were Adam 4600 in a yellow liveried car. Really, like a dog with a bone, would not give you that position.
No, he wouldn't.
At least he showed a little bit of metal, but he just gave absolutely fantastic entertainment for our viewers. But all I can say is your pace coming through the field, I think it'd be a runaway championship. I think that we've already seen in the first 2 rounds, we've only got 6 more to go. I think it could possibly, unless we see a surprise show up for the books, maybe Oldman could come in on here, but I think it's mainly between you and K-Slater, and this dynamic and this set of races with the sprint race and the feature race, it's really just ebbing and flowing. You can have a bad race one way, you can have a good race the other way, but Michelin Man, you're coming away with most points the first 2 rounds. Do you think you can carry it through?
Yeah, I hope I can carry it through. I'm really enjoying the setup, like what you've done, know what I mean? Where you are starting from the back and you've got to make your way through, and that. I'm really enjoying that.
I've got
it's good to hear.
I've got a couple of questions for you, if I can. One, you got a power boost penalty in that feature race at probably the worst possible point. You were right on the back of GBM Oldman, Hounce, and you got the power boost penalty. What was going through your mind at that point?
I wanted to just rip my steering wheel off the thing.
Okay.
I didn't expect him to brake where he braked. He braked then right on the exit of the corner, and I wasn't expecting him to do it. So I turned to avoid him and got the power boost cut. And
well,
it was just before I was going to lap at pit as well, so it was really disappointing.
Well, as they say, karma works in magical ways, because by the time he'd done his pit stop, you passed him on the pit exit. Do you have any idea what happened to GBM Oldman during his pit stop?
I think he stayed out a lot too late. think he should have pitted when the lap I pitted.
How about we find out? Well done, Michelin Man, for the second place. Don't go anywhere just yet. GBM Oldman in third place. Would you like to let everybody know what happened on your pit stop?
I hit the curb and the grass and decided to do a pirouette. And ended up going backwards up the pit lane, I think.
That's what happened.
Thank you, boys.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Get that one in.
Yeah, too right. Well, I mean, without that, you'd have had a big lead on Michelin Man, but with that, he stole second place off you, which he'll be quite happy about. Obviously, for yourself, perhaps not so much. But, I mean, just let us know. I mean, sprint race, how did that go? And also the feature race looked a little bit lonely at times.
The sprint race was like carnage at the beginning. There was cars everywhere. I ended up with a couple of penalties trying to avoid cars, and ended up, I don't know, 8th or 9th, I think, somewhere around about there. But other than that, there was cars sort of dodging everywhere. I don't know what was going on. I don't know whether someone got bad connection or not. You don't know. 1 minute they're on the left, then they're on the right, then they're in the middle, and you don't know whether you're going to hit them or not.
Okay, James, over to you.
Oldman, we did see after that first race, there were a few drivers came and saw me in the steward's box and said, you know, Oldman is a bit of a loose cannon on the brakes. He doesn't seem to use them. Did that weigh on your mind going into this race, or did you just put it to the back of your mind?
I did back off a little bit on a couple of the cars. It was a little bit too close. On some of them, they were braking a bit early to what I was braking, and I realised that, so I just backed off a little bit and give them a bit of space.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's all about giving respect, and the last thing we want to do is start handing out penalties left, right and centre when we can all sit down and have a decent conversation. And once again, you've took it on board and you've ended up on the podium.
Yeah, I seen Michelin Man coming up very close to me, and I was thinking, oh dear, he's going to get me now. And all of a sudden he got that time penalty, and I was going, oh, there is a God up there somewhere. Then I spun the car, which didn't help, did it?
I know what it is. GBM Oldman was driving along and the Michelin was catching him up. Michelin Man was catching him up. But the GBM of the Oldman could stand for Ghostbusters Motorsport.
What I should have done was throw my Zimmer frame out at him, shouldn't I?
It might have went well. Get some stabilisers out for the pit entry anyway. But a fantastic result anyway. And I mean, for you guys up at the front, I mean, Michelin Man had to work his way through the order and had a bit of action. For Casely, perhaps a little bit more of a lonely race. However, for everybody else in the field, it was nothing short of excitement for them. Last from me is going to be giving you guys the opportunity to have a go at question of the day. I asked it to James earlier because it was more a question for James to see if he could answer it, and he's failed miserably so far. So I'll hand it over to you guys, and anyone that's watching on YouTube can have a quick guess at it as well. And it's as simple as this: which Mercedes road car has got the fastest 0 to 60 time?
I know what it is, but I don't know. I can't remember the name of it.
The SLS new one.
Interesting. Wait, that one that was developed with
the CLK, I think, isn't it?
Oh no, is it the electric one?
No.
No.
It's not.
No,
It's
the
not.
old one, isn't it?
The old one? What do you mean the old one? The old CLK?
A two-seater it is.
See, now he's thinking of the car I was talking to you about, James. The one that's the old Mercedes Le Mans car that's on the game. They did turn into a road car. However, it's not that.
Yeah.
The 0 to 60 time of that was 3.3 seconds. Now, the website that I've used, so if anybody goes, that's not the right car, the website I've used, there's actually 2 cars tied for first. And it might surprise you a bit, actually, because it's the Mercedes E63 AMG, 0 to 60 of 3.2 seconds. And when you think about it, the E63 does have a ridiculous amount of brake horsepower, but also the CLS 63 AMG 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. So they were the answers that I were looking for. But anyway, James, you failed miserably at that one. But if you want to just check if Dave the Harp is still in the race, you're more than welcome to do so.
Well, I tell you, it's that pit lane, it's misleading, that pit lane.
It is. I'll let you off. Okay, time to bring this towards an end then. Next up on the Front Row Racing YouTube channel will be on Wednesday, 7:25 for the Front Row Racing F1 World Championship Reserves race at Silverstone, so come and join us for that. Then on Thursday it's the World Series Reserves again at Silverstone, 7:25 p.m. That's on F1 2016 on PlayStation 4. And then next Sunday we'll be back again 8 o'clock for round 3 of the ProjectCARS Season 5 in the DTMs. And James, where are we at for round 3?
Oh, you've caught me off guard. Hang on 1 second, just bear with me. I should know as I've picked the circuits.
There's nothing better than stitching up your co-commentator when he's not prepared.
Round 3 is at a good old, the second home of the British Grand Prix. It'll be at Donington Park National.
Donington Park. I tell you what, that track, these cars, that'll be an interesting race. I pretty much guarantee we're going to see cars off of the old hairpin and probably a few crashes into the final chicane as well. So last question for the podium sitters. Donington Park, Casely, is it one you're going to take 2 wins at?
I shall do my best. I like the track, so yeah, fingers crossed.
Michelin Man, Donington Park, are you going to keep Casely quiet and take 2 wins yourself?
I hope so, yeah. I like the track myself. It should be a good race.
It'll be an interesting one. And GBM Oldman, how long does it take you to get around Donington Park with the Zimmer frame?
It takes quite a while, but through them craner curves, mate, it's going to be trouble, I tell you, with all them cars.
Oh, it will be. It will be. But do you reckon you could get yourself another podium next weekend?
We can only pray, mate. We can only pray. Just hope everybody's good.
Okay. Well done to all of our drivers today for taking part, and once again all of the drivers for getting to the end of the race. They all do score points for it. We'll try and we'll update the points on the Facebook page on Tuesday, I believe, and also we may make the points available as a short video for future races. So if you're watching the race, you can always have a quick look at what the point standing is, but we'll see about that. Anyway, thank you to everybody. James, well done in the commentary box. You made a few mistakes, but hey, so did I. Thank you very much for watching, and come and join us next week.